Hello everyone, welcome to Johnny Modeling Studio channel. In the last video, I revealed some issues with this Unit 1 model during the initial assembly. This time, I will apply a layer of primer to help identify further areas of concern. Before applying the primer, I use an anti-static brush to clean the surface to minimize dust on the model. This layer of primer is not for the final color, so it doesn't need to be applied evenly, nor does it need to fully cover the base color. This primer serves two purposes. First, it highlights imperfections, making any flaws easier to see, which will make the following sanding work smoother. Second, it helps identify areas that will be visible. Any exposed areas will be covered with primer, which means that when sanding, I only need to focus on those primed areas, and when painting, I only need to paint the sanded areas. This way, I can avoid wasting time on unseen parts and save on paint. Since this is a large model, these efforts will make a significant difference. Now, I've applied the thin layer of primer to Unit 1. With this primer layer, we can better observe and address any issues. Next, I will disassemble all parts like this arm here. This is the disassembled left arm, while this is the right arm before disassembly. Some parts have already been sanded, like this piece here, which matches this part, and this piece matches this one. In areas like these joints, a noticeable seam line ran down the middle. I filled the gaps with putty and then sanded them smooth. All remaining parts need to be disassembled and handled individually. After treating each part, I will paint each color section and assemble them. However, for parts with side seams, they must first be assembled, then undergo seam filling and painting. Let's take a closer look at other details to watch out for. This is what the leg looks like before disassembly, right after applying the primer. As you can see, there are several side seams, but due to the layered nesting design, seam filling will be tricky. Here's the leg skeleton. The knee joint requires bonding two halves, and once assembled, the knee guards need to be added. The thigh has an inner armor piece and fits over the skeleton, while the lower leg has its own inner armor. Once these are in place, the purple exterior armor attaches on both sides. This means each layer requires seam filling, then assembly, and then more seam filling for the outer layers. Even the seams inside the joints need to be sanded first. Then the outer parts are assembled and undergo seam filling. This repetitive process of seam filling, painting, masking, seam filling, painting, and masking continues because different poses expose different internal structures. This design makes a one-run paint job impractical. I find this layered design inefficient. Another issue is around the thigh near the knee, where the part is sharply pointed. Looking at the original design and other brands, this area shouldn't be so sharp, so I modified it to have a smoother shape, which I think looks better. I also plan to round off a sharp angle on the lower egg to improve its appearance. Additionally, I think the design suggests that this upper protruding section and the lower parts are separate armor pieces, yet there is no panel line. After finishing the seam filling here, I will add a panel line to enhance the sense of separation. The calf also has an upper and lower section that could use a distinguishing line. Moving to the torso, the waist has three interlocking segments, each one encasing the one below. The part below the chest has a segment with side seams that need filling. Each segment is nested in another, with seams needing filling for each section, including a major seam at the hip. Because each layer encases the next, I need to finish seam filling and painting for each layer before moving to the next, just like with the thigh. It's quite a process, but necessary. That's everything for this episode. In the next one, I will start the final assembly and painting. Be sure to stay tuned. and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.